The Ambit spirit is exemplified by leaders who have a clear and consistent vision and an ability to inspire others to use their gifts to transform the world. The Thompson Leadership Award, named in honor of Jerry Thompson Sr., recognizes those consultants who embody the true spirit of Ambit leadership. Please welcome the 2016 Thompson Leadership Award winner, Executive Consultant Tony Procopio.
Come on, let's miss again. Like we did last summer. All right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. You guys really excited. You guys really excited to be here. You guys, love you guys. I just want to say I'm very thankful to Jerry and Chris and John Burke and all of the other leaders who've helped us along the way in this journey, and to the unsung heroes at Consultant Support and in our IT department for making this entire thing go for all of us. Let's give them a round of applause, absolutely. And to my wife, Diana, who is the driving force behind our business. We build this as a team, and without her, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I want to tell you a personal story today. This is when I was 16 years old. I was eating my parents out of house and home. My father came to me and he said, "Tony, I found you your first job. There's no interview required. All you have to do is show up, and you're starting today." So he brought me to my new boss, George. I met him, learned about the job, and I became a stock clerk at a deli and gas station. See, this is where I learned that my father was very smart. See, he knew that I could eat whatever I wanted while I was there and take leftovers home at the end of the night that they were going to throw away anyway. So I set out to do the job well and be full. A couple months later, my boss, George, pulled me aside. He said, "Tony, you're the most industrious worker I've ever seen. You do things without me having to ask you, and for that reason, I'm going to give you a 15-cent raise to $4 per hour." I'll tell you, I was really excited about that. And George saw I was excited, but then he did a remarkable thing. He said, "Tony, let this be a lesson to you. Always strive to be the best at what you do and always be industrious, but don't do it because you want to push a mop for the rest of your life. Do it because you want lifestyle, if that's what you want. There's nothing wrong with pushing a mop for the rest of your life, but if you want lifestyle, you have to be the one giving out the raises and the praises. And you can't do that working for someone else." So now, self-employed in our own business, my wife and I have realized that in Ambit Energy, we would rather make $100,000 in Ambit money than make $200,000 in job money, because it's the type of money that you make and the freedom that's associated with that. But hey, why stop at 100K, right? So listen, why do some people emerge as leaders? It's not a personality thing. It's not based on personality. I mean, look at all the different leaders that are out there. The McClures, the Thompsons. You look at Steve Thompson, you just heard him, Phil Ecker, Ray Monty, the Atkinsons, the Amoedos, the Spinas, the Marins. You could go on and on. Alan and Leanne Johnston, the Masons, the Ullingers. Many different personalities, but all leaders. See, the great business philosopher Jim Rohn, he said that the same wind blows on us all. So it's not the wind that determines our direction in life. It's the set of our sail. So as a leader, you have to be the moral compass and the directional compass for your business. So are you setting your course? Are you steering your ship? Or are you just directionless with the wind? See, I think right now the time has arrived for all of us to check those prevailing winds and set our sails and move, as my friend MJ Durkin says, in the direction of more. Leaders are pace setters. But here's the thing. In order to be a pace setter, you have to be the boss of your own calendar first. It starts with that. You have to lead yourself. People will step up and recognize that you have small personal successes when you're leading yourself, and only then will they begin to follow you. See, leadership can come sometimes in the form of confidence and posture. in upping your inner game to create an outward expectation that's like a lighthouse in the fog, directing them to you. Because nothing leads like success. And there's no substitute for results, because people respond to results. And with all of the amazing tools that we have in this business, in Ambit Energy, we don't wait for things to happen. We make them happen. Absolutely. You know, and leaders are readers. You hear this a lot, but it's the most common thread within leaders today. And one of my favorite books about initiating self-leadership is a book called Rhinoceros Success by Scott Alexander. And in that book, he talks about the difference between cows grazing in a fenced-in field and rhinoceros charging ahead on the open highway toward their dreams. Which one do you want to be? Sometimes I'll tell you it's just about being the best you that you can be. You can't be a leader unless you're first a follower. And you can't be a follower unless you're first a listener. So leaders tend to be the best listeners. You know, in Proverbs it says, where there's no vision, the people perish. It's not might perish, it's will perish. Leaders have vision. Ben Franklin said this, that many people die at age 25, but they're not buried until they're 75. Leaders stay the course. Franklin also, he said this, he said, honesty is always the best policy. And the author C.S. Lewis said this one, integrity is doing the right thing when no one else is watching. See, it's about protecting what's good and right, especially in Ambit Energy. So, you're going to come across a challenging situation or two in your business along the way, and when you do, don't pass negative to your downline or to someone else's downline. See, don't throw up on your downline. If you feel the need to throw upline. That's how you do it. Because leaders always counsel upline with other leaders. So I'm going to give you some actionable intelligence right now that I think might help empower you on some things. The time objection in this business is arguably the most common objection we get, especially at $75 to join, right? Absolutely. So it's also the best opportunity for us to assume a leadership role. So when someone says, I don't have any time, I just simply agree with them. I said, if I were looking for your time, I certainly wouldn't have called you because I know you don't have any. But we both know that busy people get things done, right? So let's take a look at it from a different lens for a moment. I know you have at least 15 minutes a week because you're sitting here with me right now. So let's say we took 15 minutes next week and we found somebody that had 2 hours. And we did that same thing for a few weeks over the next several months. Do you realize that after 2 months, we would have your 15 minutes, we would duplicate into 15 hours of time. And now your Ambit business is paying you when you're not even there. So correct me if I'm wrong. But this is the perfect business for people who don't have a lot of time. Wouldn't you agree? See, we all join this business as infants, all of us. But the goal is not to have a nursery full of babies. We're building an army of leaders. Leaders right here in Hartford, Connecticut. Leaders in Austin, Texas. Leaders at Simulcast watch parties, watching from their home, tuning in on their phone, in their car, on their lunch break from work right now. Leaders who understand we're in the right place at the right time, and that the next decade is only going to see the timing get better and better. Leaders who understand that being in the right place at the right time is only half of the equation, because you have to step in with perfect timing and take massive positive action to change the direction of your life forever. So maybe this is your time to step up as a leader. Do we have any leaders out there? Do we have any leaders of character, integrity, and honesty? Do we have any leaders who will rise up? Leaders look for the good. Leaders always look for the highest good in those that they influence. Like my first boss, George, did with me when he lifted me up, because it's all about empowering other people and truly celebrating them. And how profound that in that tiny moment in my life, he cared enough to take the time to teach me that lesson. Like Brian McClure said, bury yourself in the success of others, and your success will be a byproduct of that. In closing, I'd like to say this. Jerry and Chris set out from day one to become the finest and most respected retail energy provider in the country. And you know what? They've accomplished that. Fastest growing privately held company in America, $1 billion in revenue, faster than any other network marketing company in history. Paid out hundreds of millions of dollars to consultants like us. See, they've done their part. They've done their part. But what about you? Have you set out to be the finest and most respected consultant in all of Ambit Energy? And are you doing things every day to make that happen? See, to my Spanish friends, I want to say this: Nos vemos en la cima. And to my Polish friends, I say do zobaczenia na szczycie. And to everyone else who has no idea what I just said, we'll see all of you at the top. Thank you.